Hello, I am Dr. Steve Johnson, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar. The title of the webinar today is Surviving and Thriving, some strategies to help students successfully navigate their first year in college. I'm going to base this webinar on research that has come out that is actually fascinating about what are the major challenges that students do experience in the first year. And some of those challenges some of them do continue over several years. So it's really important for us to look at that. So there are several components for today's webinar. And one will be, of course, that I will be covering those major challenges with some suggestions that research has shown to be pretty helpful in addressing those issues. The second thing or a component of today is that I'm really excited about the possibility of having two speakers if we work out that schedule with them. Hopefully one will come near the beginning of this webinar, and another one will be toward the end of the webinar. And in addition, not only will we have these experienced individuals who work at the university and spend a good amount of time working with students who are new to the university, and some of whom will be experiencing some challenges. But I'm also excited that I was able to have a conversation with a former student at the university who had touched on some really important issues that the research even highlights as important issues and challenges. So he will discuss those challenges, what he did, and the support that he got during that time. So let me get started. Again, everybody, we just had a little kerfuffle with the internet. I live way out in the wilderness, and so it was a bit of a challenge. So here we're going to try this again, and I'm really excited that we have Lisa Lanfer, who is the director for the Academic Success Center, and so. Don't forget, in the midst of the kerfuffle, what the topic is about. It is about surviving and thriving. Maybe I need to take that. Surviving and thriving, some strategies that we can develop or implement to help students do well and actually thrive during their first year of college. And it's based on the research that shows what the major areas of challenges are that individuals experience. And I will be covering that later, but I'm so happy to have Lisa Lanfer here, who will be talking about several areas, I think, with which students really struggle. So I'm just going to turn this over to you, Lisa, and if you want to introduce yourself and then just say whatever you think people really need to hear, okay?
Okay. So thanks for including me, Steve. This is really fun to be part of this. So our office, the purpose of our office is to provide support for students in fulfilling God's calling on their lives. And we believe that God has called students to CIU for a reason, for the education, and we want to see them persist all the way to graduation, get their degrees, and then go out and serve Him in whatever capacity He has for them. So with that in mind, all of us need support. All of us need help. There's a lot of things that college students don't know that they don't know. And so our office does a lot of different things. So I'm just going to kind of quickly enumerate them. And then, I love that little tagline with the phone number going across there. That's cool. And then, Steve, if you have other things you want me to go into more depth. Okay, so we have an acronym that I keep in my head so that I can just easily kind of organize it. One of the things we do in the Academic Success Center, we are located on the second floor of the library, but we're also available for students who are distance learners virtually. We offer tutoring for all of those students, as I just mentioned. A lot of our tutors are upperclassmen who have been successful in their classes. We do have a few graduate students who also work with us. So that's free for you. So students, you're already paying for a tutor. The tutors love to come alongside and work with you. And if it's not costing you anything extra, you have to do the work anyway. Why don't you sit with somebody who's good at that subject or something? So, Steve, I do hear some feedback with, do you hear that too? Like somebody's got their microphone on? Okay. Okay. So tutoring is available. We offer testing services, and part of the reason we offer the testing services is we also offer accommodations for students with disabilities. And our goal there is to level the playing field for students so that they have the same access as everybody else. So if you are facing barriers because of a disability, we're the ones to come and talk to. I know it's not in our name, but that's what we do. And then, and I mentioned the testing. Some students have testing accommodations, and so therefore we run the testing center for the whole school. Another thing we do is work with students regarding learning academic skills. So Mondays, we call them Mango Mondays, and we often actually have mangoes or mango products at our sessions. And these are like time management skills and how do I read a college textbook and how do I take a test and things like that. That it was a big jump from high school to college in your responsibility and taking control of your learning. And so we want to make sure that you are educated in those ways, and we can come alongside and support you there. And we also offer mentors for students who are incoming, who would like somebody who's maybe just a little bit ahead of them, or an alumni that can speak into their life and help them learn. Every college has secret knowledge, right? So these people have learned the secret knowledge of college. They've been successful. They love Jesus, and they want to walk alongside you. So you can sign up with a mentor with our office. And then we do anything else that somebody asks us to do that will support students and their academic excellence and their academic success.
Yeah, Lisa, do you mind giving some sample topics of the workshops that you offer?
Sure. So we typically in a semester will offer, the first one is almost always time management, because that's a big one. A lot of responsibility is placed on you, the student, to manage your day. So that's one of them. Another one is note taking. A lot of college students, I know I was one. I went to college. I was like, the professor is speaking way too fast. I can't keep up. So teaching you good ways to take notes, reading a textbook. You'll have a lot of reading to do. And so how do you read efficiently and effectively? Writing papers. So Steve Johnson is actually going to run an APA session for us, which will be APA style, but also talking about writing at the college level. That's one of our favorites, is when Steve comes and speaks at the Mango Mondays. What else do we do, Steve?
Sometimes just the emotional side of things. It's real interesting. You cover, what do you do when you feel overloaded or and those kinds of things, right?
Yes, we do talk about getting enough sleep and why that's so important. Our office speaks in terms of growth mindset, and that all of us can grow. You're not stuck where you are. Every day you can get a little better. So we've had sessions on that as well. Just all those soft skills that students need to learn in order to be successful in their academics. And let me also say, I'm talking about academics a lot. We care a lot more about you as a person than just your GPA. And that's why we offer things like mentoring, because that often becomes a kind of a discipleship relationship. It's not just, that person isn't your tutor. They're just another Christian who's walking alongside you on the journey. So.
Okay. Since you are really familiar with what services are offered at the university, one of the common challenges is dealing with your roommate. What do people do? And I will be covering this in terms of what you can do to try to get conversations that might be productive. But where I know often we'd love for students to try to work something out on themselves, work it out, but sometimes, you know, we need some help. So where would they go to get that kind of help?
So there are a few different options for things like that. First, I would start with student life because they have training and so forth that's part of what they do is the residence life side of things. And they will work with you toward what you just said, Steve, you know, having conversations and working out things because rooming with a stranger can be challenging, right?
Yeah.
We also have at CIU, we have something called the counseling training center where the graduate students who are in the clinical counseling program are practicing and doing some practicum hours here on campus. So you could go meet with them and just talk about, I'm having trouble with my roommate. You know, what should I do? How can I approach this so that we can work things out and have a healthy relationship there in the room? Yeah, you can do that as well. You should be able to go through student life with that if necessary, but you can always come talk to me because I'm a big proponent of the CTC program. So, yeah.
Now, do they have to be residential students to access the services of the Academic Success Center?
No, actually, we want to make sure that all of our students feel like they can come to us for support. Our tutors are available through Teams in addition to being in person. We prefer in person, but if you live in Idaho, you obviously are not coming in person. So yes, our tutors are trained on how to use Teams. It's actually a really great platform for that kind of thing. So tutoring can be done that way. Mentoring can be done that way. This year we have upperclassmen who are mentors, but also alumni, and we have not restricted it to just local people. We've recruited people from literally Idaho. That's why that sticks in my mind. But all over the country, because, you know, since COVID, all of us have learned how to do these live streaming, you know, conversations, right? So yes, we want to make sure that you also feel supported if you're an online student.
Any last words you want to leave students about
Sure.
you know, what they can do if they're, you know, struggling academically?
So the three most important words that they can say, and they can write these down if it's hard to remember: I need help. And it's okay to ask for help. That's what we're here for. We want to come alongside. We want to support students. It's what we do. This is our job. So keep us employed and remember those three words: I need help.
I love that because people think that they're weak when they do that, but that actually is a show of strength to be able to access help from other people. Lisa, thank you for coming on and surviving the kerfuffle, and we will continue and let Miles talk now. You know.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Have a great day. I want to move to before I go back and begin the looking at what research says are the major challenges and then what we can do about them. I'd like for you to hear from a former student. He's actually working on campus now, but it was great getting to know him while he was a student and watch the transformation of him and have him talk about the challenges that he experienced. So it's fairly brief, but let me just pull that up so that you can hear what Miles Raven has to say. Miles, Mr. Raven, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. And we have this video that we're looking at major challenges that students have in their first year and kind of what helped. And you were a student, undergrad student, just last year. So this will be fresher in your mind than it will be my experience fresher in my mind.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind taking a look at a couple, two or three of the major challenges that you experienced as a first year students and what helped with that. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Yeah. So some of the challenges, I think I came in on my sophomore year. So I came in after going to another college that I didn't have the greatest experience at because it was the first year of COVID then. So I was coming in trying to build those relationships with my peers while also commuting. So for commuting and a student on campus, it's a different kind of thing. I struggled with making those connections with students in my classes outside of the classroom because I would usually go to classes, go to the library for a little bit, and then I'd head home. I think what really helped me in my first year was getting involved with student government. I had professors that encouraged me and saw leadership potential in me, and said that I should join the psychology program since that's what I studied, and the psychology group, Psi Lambda Delta. So I joined. I was a treasurer, and I at first I didn't really want to do it. I didn't know if it was the right thing for me, but it was a leap of faith, and I trusted my professors, and it turned out great for me. I think the best thing for me was getting involved in something like student government. Other students have uh, other kinds of clubs, different like intramural sports that happen throughout the year. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved with the other like students around campus, and also they have the main meeting area, the student center that helped out with with the talk and get some coffee, get some snacks and talk with people. So that was the first big challenge, was just getting to know people and to make those connections. The second big challenge was trying to figure out like tuition. Although my mom worked at the school, so we had a discount with my tuition, I still was tasked with paying as much as possible. So I had to try to find work either on campus or off campus, which being a part of student government and being in a higher role as the years went on, I heard a lot from students about how finances they're affecting them as well, and how much of a struggle it was to find work at CIU, at the college that would be able to earn them enough money to be able to stay at the college as tuition raised. So it's an issue that happens a lot, just not just with CIU, I'm sure with a lot of college, pretty much every college around the country. It's important for schools to offer different jobs, or at least provide resources to find jobs elsewhere. And I think CIU does a good job with that, with the jobs on campus having a decent wage, but also then providing students with a app called Handshake that allows students to find work off campus that might fit their degree, fit what they're interested in. So I looked on Handshake and found different positions for myself over the years, and I was also able to find work in the student life office at CIU, and just with just different opportunities that CIU provides for students to make money through volunteering for different athletic events, and helping out at our kind of sister high school that's right next to us called Ben Lippen.
Okay. And quick question, did you find that you reached out to the professors initially, or did the professors reach out to you? When you were, especially when you were trying to look around how to get connected with people, right?
Sure. I think it's definitely like, as a college student, you want to be as independent, and they expect you to be as independent in terms of, that you meeting them halfway. And that's very true for CIU. We have a lot of great professors, a lot of them that have made great impacts on my life, and that I still keep in contact with since I've left the school. A lot of them I approached, and they met me halfway, and then allowed me to have access to different resources, and they would help me and guide me and disciple me through like discipleship, and also through just being mentors to me over the years. But I had to reach out mostly when we started, and then the relationships just grew from there. But the
What
cool
about,
thing about, oh, I'm sorry.
no, please go ahead, Miles.
I was just saying the cool thing about CIU professors is they are so willing to help, and they are so willing to aid students in finding opportunities on campus and also off campus that will help them with the careers that they're pursuing. They'll always be willing to give wisdom. So it was great.
What about when, like for every student, right? We hit challenges sometimes in the studies or certain concepts that are difficult. Um, did you encounter that? I mean, in a way that was different from high school? And then what did you do about that?
Sure. Yeah, it was. I tell a lot of my friends and a lot of high schoolers that are like seeking help with like what's college like? What's college life like? Your hands not held. It's a place where you get to really grow into the person and get to see who you really are and what you're made of in terms of going after pursuing higher grades and trying to make sure that your academics are straight. For me, uh, yeah, some classes were pretty hard. The notorious one at CIU is hermeneutics. Everybody talks about it as a freshman. You hear about it. Like enjoy these first couple of years because when you hit hermeneutics, it's going to be horrible. Um, so that's the main thing. But the cool thing about CIU, they have the Academic Success Center, and I was able to work as a tutor for English for 2.5 years there, and really enjoyed it. And I was able to get a lot of help over the years as well with my academics when I would struggle with different assignments. And the cool thing about the ASC, as we call it, is that it's peers mostly that are tutoring us. So the ones that have been through the classes that we're taking. So they have that experience of going through it and getting good grades, and they give students as many tips as they would like. So it's a really cool aspect of CIU that I really took advantage of and benefited greatly from.
Thanks for saying that, Miles. Lisa Lanfer, who is the director of that Student Success Center, is going to be on talking about exactly the kinds of services that they do. But I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule with job and all of that to come and talk to us. I'm sure what you have to say is going to be a big benefit to those people who listen to this. Thanks so much, Miles.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. It was fun. Thank you.
Okay, have a good day. Yeah, I know that there was a bit of a kerfuffle, so I'm going to be going through this PowerPoint again and try to bring up what the research says are the major challenges that students experience in the first year of college, but then also continuing. So let me go to those. The first major challenge, and this was listed as number one. In fact, the research I read said about 55% of the students in the first year and some beyond find this to be a major challenge, and that is financial challenges. The second most common were family and personal issues, followed by academic challenges, and then the desire to work and pursue a career. So let's go into each of these individually, and I'm going to try to give some ideas about some things that people can do. And these may vary from college to college, but generally these tasks are in some form at most colleges and universities. So let's go through these. Some of these, Dr. Lisa Lanfer and Miles Raven already touched on, and even the financial issue. Under the financial challenges, one of the biggest ones was the tuition. In fact, you heard Miles say that he took a job so he could address the tuition cost. He lived off campus, but there's still the tuition that he needed to cover. The other one would be the cost of living. They're just, we know what cost of living is, and even if you over and above tuition, you got to live. And so there are some cost of living issues that can be quite challenging at times. And then others may be kind of a personal issue. Some individuals are averse to experiencing any kind of debt. They may get anxious about having debt. I know often we talk about good debt and bad debt, and good debt may be those ways in which we invest in ourselves to set us up to get those jobs we hope that we will enjoy and can make enough that we can live on and enjoy life. Addressing these, some ideas that have come up in conversations with other people, and as I read the research, is one, try to get assistance, really pursue that. Try to get assistance in addition to a job, but get assistance to explore scholarships. Most universities have some form of scholarship, but some of the places or offices at the university will try to help you explore your interest and see whether there are scholarships wide or very narrow outside the university for which you can apply. The other would be grants and then work study opportunities. I even know way back when I was in college, a good number of students were in the work study program. And the advantage of that is that those students who were employed on campus, got paid. They didn't have to travel somewhere, especially if they were residing on campus. And the university was usually flexible about not having them work during the times when they are scheduled to be in class. So that can be a helpful alternative at times. Another one that goes along with what Lisa Lamfer talked about, and those would be in the workshops sometimes that universities offer, or in certain offices you can go in and have one-on-one, or even group conversations about budgeting skills and how to better manage your finances. Because some individuals, as they move from high school to college, this is a whole new area for them. Maybe the parents did the budgeting and manage the finances, and this is maybe a new skill that these students need to address, but there is help. That's the good thing. The third one is explore other ways to get your education even at your own university. I know at where I work, we have the online classes as well as the residential classes. Some students take exclusively online classes and others residential classes, and some kind of have a hybrid, some online and some residential. And so look into whether some combination of those is a bit more cost effective for you. So that's something that students can explore, and all kinds of people are at the university staff that can help you with that, or talk to your professor and maybe they can help point you to staff members who are very, very familiar with this and can direct you in very, very helpful ways. A second big area that the research shows is challenges associated with family or personal issues. Now, all of us are going to have family or personal issues, and we deal with them, but sometimes these are a bit bigger, and we could benefit perhaps from some assistance with that. And more universities are realizing that they're helping to address the whole individual, not only academics, but their relationships, if they encounter relationship problems, family issues, and that kind of thing, to the degree that the student does want some assistance. Sometimes students may need to help with family health issues. I remember even when I was in college, and I remember the family had a health issue, and so I was busy shuttling back and forth from the university to home to try to help that individual. Another area the student himself may have health issues, especially if those issues are chronic issues. Now, Lisa Lanfer, when she was talked about how her Student Success Center can help individuals. So, for example, let's say you have an issue that makes it hard for you to sit and take an exam and you need to break up the time. We're able to manage that at the university and try to be as flexible as we can with you to get those kinds of helps that you need. And again, it's a strength to ask for that kind of stuff. This is especially if your health issue is impacting your the demands that you have to complete your studies. Seek help. Help is there, so please seek it. Um, Sometimes more and more, it was a bit different when I was in college, but more and more students, maybe parents themselves, and may have it difficult, at times to balance family duties along with the high cost of childcare and all of the duties that they have as a student. And juggling that can be rather challenging. Some universities have childcare right on campus, or some offices know individuals who help with childcare, etc. So that would be something to begin to look into and get assistance from the university about some ideas there. Mental health issues. Of course, I'm a psychologist. I'm very interested in this area. And, sometimes, if you suffer, or you're dealing with major depression or anxiety, or you've had some trauma or something, sometimes those symptoms pop up and you may need some assistance. And so, as Lisa Lanfer said, we do have people at our campus, at our university, who can help you with that. Most universities have a counseling center that you can drop in, and either free or very, very, very affordable prices to get some assistance. Don't let that ride. Seek help, and the university will do what it can to help you or connect you even with somebody off campus. Roommate issues. That's as old as um, um, colleges themselves, But uh, roommates can be a great, great blessing and a great joy, and make the whole process of the university fun. And you have somebody to vent to when you have that professor who is just giving you a huge assignment right before a holiday and things like that. And you can vent with your roommate. But sometimes, you guys are wildly different and you're encountering some challenges, like you want to study late at night, they want to study real early in the morning, they want a bunch of friends to come over, you want some silence to say, those kinds of things need to be worked out. And there are things that can be done. One is you know when with these family and personal issues is maybe to explore, possibly part-time, going to school part-time, doing online or even evening classes as options. I know later in my academic career, I gravitated toward evening classes so I could be free during the day to work. Some of the online classes that are asynchronous, you there's not a particular time when you actually do the class. You do it when you have the free time, and you make free time to do that, right? You don't want that to ride. Or you go part-time. It may take a little bit longer for you to get your degree, but if that helps make it more manageable for you, then certainly it's worth exploring. As I said, investigate counseling services that may be offered by the college or to which they can direct you. Seeking help, maybe with family support programs, childcare, or even elder care, because more and more, a little bit older students who are coming to the university, and they may have parents themselves who are elderly and with health issues, or some challenges, and so maybe they need some respite care and that kind of thing to help with that. With the roommate thing, this is a whole workshop, but one of the things to do is to practice effective communication, right? Be assertive. If you're having some challenges, find a time when both of you are free and nothing is an intrusion, so you can sit down and have a conversation about it. Be assertive. Let them know what is not working for you, and you may even have some suggestions. I think to remember not to be demanding about that or to be rude about it, but just treat, you're both bright and adults, and you can try to work that out as you can. If it cannot be worked out in through that means, which we hope it is, but sometimes that doesn't happen, then seek assistance of the RA, the resident assistant, who is in the dorm, perhaps herself, himself, and can help with that because they may know situations and what's going on. Or just look to see whether there's other housing options there on campus. Or sometimes it's a matter of finding some space on campus to go do your studying. I would go to the library or something like that, because my roommate and I were I liked the evening and they liked the morning, and that was difficult to manage at times. We did our best, but then we had to a manageable way so that both of us got to study when it was better for us. The other one is academic challenges, and what is found in the research is one is unpreparedness. It's not uncommon for first year students to say, "Oh my gosh, this is so different. I don't think I was prepared. What I learned in high school didn't prepare me for college." Well, this is sequential, so they may giving you some skills, and now that you're at the university, we're going to be building on those skills. One that I always find is to help students write. We had the 5-point essay that we used to teach, and when you get to the university, we go, okay, that was really good back then. That gave you a structure, it kept you online. Now we're going to complicate that a little bit, and we're going to help you with that. And so go, oh man, was that my students go, was I taught something that wasn't helpful? I'm like, no, it was perfectly helpful. Now you're older, and we're expanding it. And some of the ideas that we're going to be covering are going to take a little bit more space and a little more logic in our presentation. So to help you with the preparedness, even study skills, etc. Course load. Some universities different, and I'm an advisor to graduate students and now undergrad. And some of them come in and they just want to take the maximum number. And of courses, I'm like, you might want to ease into it a little bit more. Or even if you're going to take several courses, there may be some that are your sweet spot, maybe like writing, or maybe you're really into math. So you have that. And then maybe you don't really care for another class, or one class is far more demanding than another. Then you want to make sure you have a combination. You don't want to have 5 demanding classes that you're not going to have a life. You won't even have the time to go to the cafeteria, the dining hall to eat. So get some help in selecting courses if you need that. The other one is lack of support. It can be lonely for some students when they first get to the university. They've just left some really, really good friends, and they may be excited, but they're like, I don't know how to go about this, And so there are all kinds of things that go on at the university, and you can try to get connected or have conversations. I know I deal with psychology majors, so we have psychology clubs and things like that, and special things that we think that individuals with that background might be interested in. There are more general ones, sometimes the people just take a trip or they go out, and we have service days where the students go together and they help go to an area that people may be throwing trash, and they help people clean up those areas, etc. Very, very nice ways to get to know people and work alongside them. The other one will be if your loneliness is getting in the way. And, the CDC has said that loneliness is a big problem in the United States today. And part of it is that we are so into social media that we let slide the one-on-one relationships. And the one-on-one relationships are really, really important and helpful. And you learn some other skills, and you make some relationships that last for decades, right? So there is help at the university for individuals who may be feeling disconnected or a bit lonely. Don't just let that slide. Get some help, get some assistance, reach out. And again, that's a strength. It's not a weakness. Addressing academic challenges, academic support. There's tutoring programs, mentoring programs, study skills workshops. I know I volunteer to do workshops on topics that I feel really competent in as a professor and have some experience in. And a lot of other professors do the same thing. We have professors that had other kind of jobs before we became professors, et cetera. So we have different kinds of skills, or some of us had some challenges before. We were able to work it out, and we can share what we know with that, whether that's in a workshop or you come and meet with us individually. And that is the second one. Seek help from professors. I know sometimes we are busy and we're working on I'm working on research projects and writing and that kind of thing, but we are there to help our students. And I always tell my students that you're not a burden for me. You're giving me the opportunity to help make things more understandable to people, which I really want to be able to do. Seek help from professors. And if the one professor doesn't work out, there are a lot of other professors, and they don't even have to be the professors whose courses you're taking then. Just seek, you talk to students and they say, this professor is really good. They helped me. Go up and knock the door. It's flattering when you do for professors, when students reach out, seriously reach out. Excuse me. The other one is to seek help from an on-campus program. What I call kind of bridge programs, bridge moving from high school to college, bridge more mature relationships, bridge all kinds of bridges. And so I think of many of our workshops, many conversations that I have with students in the cafeteria. By the way, I always tell students, best way to get me is I love food. So I'm going to be in the cafeteria at noon or so. So just come on over and join me, or get a group of students together, and I'm more than happy to help you and look at the challenges that you maybe experience at the university in general and my classes or whatever. The last one that I want to cover, which is an important one that comes up in research, is the desire to work or to pursue a career. Sometimes you're a student and there's an area in which you want to work, and that's what you're getting your education for, but an immediate job opportunity comes up, and so you want to take that job opportunity because you estimated or you reasoned that maybe practical experience might be more important than completing a degree. I want you to think deeply about that one, but I'm going to look at some things that we can do about that later. Maybe you're just entrepreneurial. You just have this desire to launch your own business. I understand that. I know many students at the university just have online businesses that they create, and they do well. I had one student that had an online, two students who had businesses that they launched, and that's how they got online, and that's how they paid for their tuition. They were very creative and had the oomph to kind of do that, and they wanted to do that, and they're doing really well. And they found that they got some business skills that really helped them in doing that. Another one is sometimes people are just dissatisfied with college life, and they want to explore options outside academia. Look, I'm certainly not going to say to someone, don't do this. I mean, you're adults, you can do what you want, but what I really encourage people to do when these are the issues is think about what's in your long-term best interest over and above what's in your short-term best interest. Have some long-term goals and move toward those. Of course, you need some short-term goals. We need a combination of both, but don't let the demands of the present get you off track for reaching some long-term goals, okay? So what can we do? Well, many campuses have on-campus career counseling. Take advantage of that. Just yesterday, I was in a workshop with fellow faculty members, and one of them was one of the professors was looking at how to help students with career counseling. And it was really an excellent workshop. And I was so happy to hear that we have that kind of service on campus. Another one is instead of just dropping school and then moving into a job, explore possible internships or shadowing experiences. Now, some students then make connections with somebody who's in business doing things that they like to do. I'm a researcher, and so I've had students shadow me as I'm doing research, how I do that research, how I integrate the stuff that they've learned in the classes, like math skills, to analyze statistically, how to write it up, how to form, work with individuals who are editors to get in journals. And this is great fun for me. And they get some experience about what life really looks like as a researcher. Another one is seek assistance really to kind of make a plan that would allow you to work and to study. Some of these things you'll note are like both and. It's not like either I go to class or I leave the university completely and go get a job. Those are options, right? But sometimes you can have both. Maybe, may take some creativity on how to balance that, and you got to figure out your time margins and all of that kind of stuff. But these are really, really worth exploring. My big advice really is don't try to go it alone when you're at the university. Explore the options that you have and explore those by connecting with some other people who are more than willing to help you. And if you don't find the help you need with that individual, seek help elsewhere. Seek the advice of fellow students about, if they sought some help from somebody who they found as really, really helpful. Why? Because what I'm hoping and what I know as a professor, I see my value as to do whatever I can to help you reach your life goals. And I can't know those unless you share those with me. And then I may not be able to do it all, but maybe I can help you with a part of that. So I want to thank Lisa Lanfer, and I want to thank all of you. I know the program got kerfuffled in the beginning. I was having some trouble with the internet, and then finally it worked out miraculously or some way. And so I'm really, really happy. But I hope some of this was really helpful. And again, thanks to Lisa Lanfer, thanks to Miles Raven, who shared his experience, and both are wonderful, wonderful people. And you have similar people at your university.